This is where it all started. This is where I grew up my whole life. This is where the backyard where my dad always played sports with me. This is where our golden retrievers would always run around. This is where we had a lot of family events, family parties. And I chose this spot specifically to do this talk with you guys because obviously there's a lot of history here, but this is a spot that holds heavy in my heart. My dad was a person who was a Division I athlete, baseball player at Elon. He was a 3-star athlete in high school. His identity was sports. He was such a big athlete. He wanted to showcase that through us as his kids, between me and my sister. He always said yes to training with us. He always said yes to playing with us. And he always spent time with us, even if he was busy doing other things to help hold the family together. In his journey, once I got older to about senior year of high school, he was roughly 51 years old and he didn't take care of himself. He would sit in his car all day because he was an oil salesman. He would come home and watch TV. He would drink. He would eat anything in sight. And slowly but surely, I saw him just not feeling happy with himself, feeling like he wasn't showing up capable as he once was, like he was as an athlete. And in that, he ended up getting severe sciatica. So his right sciatic nerve all the way down his leg. So being that he was only 51, instead of walking normal like this, he had a cane and was walking like this. And for me to see someone who was such a star-studded individual in sports do that, lose his identity in that he was no longer a person who was an athlete. He was a person that had severe sciatica, severe back pain, was a person that couldn't show up for me when I wanted to continue practicing for my senior year of high school basketball. And then shortly after, once he started to take care of himself, he started training with me at my trainer for the time. He started moving better. He started eating better. He started not drinking as much. He was able to show up for himself again, but it was too late. Shortly after my 18th birthday, he ended up passing away. And there were 3 years in between that where I was just completely in shock. I wasn't in tune with my emotions. I wasn't showing up in terms of being a good student in college. I wasn't showing up for my friends and family. I was just going through the motions. I didn't know what to feel. I didn't know how to act. And in that dark time, in the 3rd year of college, my junior year, I got in such a dark place that it hit me so hard. I was drinking 6 days out of the week. I was doing drugs. I ended up really just feeling extremely sorry for myself, wanting to switch places with him so he could be around for my family. And in that, I truly lost my identity in who I was, and I felt sorry. I played victim. I blamed everything that was happening around me externally on him passing. It got to the point where I held the knife right here. Luckily, I called my best friend, and he answered, and it saved my life. Now, in that, it's been 13 years, so 10 years since that incident, 13 years total since I lost him. I didn't just go through the motions and wake up and have a morning routine, have myself take care of myself mentally and physically, show up as I want to show up and impact other people just like my dad did. There was a gap where after that moment of holding a knife to my throat, I was at a loss. I wasn't motivated. I was waking up late. I was working out, but not really working out. I was just trying to let out all my anger in a secluded area where the outside world no longer existed. I was losing jobs left and right. I didn't want to show up for my friends. I kept drinking abusively. I was smoking weed abusively. I was just lazy, and that's nowhere where I wanted my dad to think of me as. Completely lost. He was looking down on me, asking me is this how you want to show up for yourself? Because I'm not proud of this version. And I didn't really understand that until one day I looked in the mirror and asked myself, what exactly did I want? How would my dad view me in my current situation, and how can I change that? How could I start taking care of myself? How can I show up and perform the way I want to show up? How can I mentally flip that switch and physically become better, mentally become better, but translate that to other areas of my life and actually make an impact, not only for the close people for me, but for the people that are looking up to me, for the people that are witnessing me go through growth. And I started implementing a simple habit every morning. And it was writing down the first thoughts that I truly thought about right when I woke up. What that allowed me to do was get everything about missing my dad, everything of not being where I wanted to be yet in my life, everything of feeling sorry for myself out on paper. So then I had a clear mind. So then I was able to attack the day with a clear mind and do what I wanted to do instead of playing the victim and feeling sorry for myself and blaming my situation on losing my dad. In that, implementing that little journal entry every morning, I started to compound other healthy habits. I started not drinking as much. I started doing more mobility in the morning and getting the blood flow after journaling. I started drinking a lot more water with electrolytes to wake up feeling hydrated. I started to understand that my sleep was very important to me. I started implementing ways to say no to things that I truly didn't want to do. I was showing up for people for pleasing them instead of pleasing what I actually wanted from myself. Anything that was taken away from me taking steps forward, I then started taking that out of my life. So being able to implement those thoughts into a piece of paper not only allowed me to have a clearer mind for the day ahead, but it also allowed me to compound that into other healthy habits. And another healthy habit that was always a safe space for me was the gym. I finally got out of my head after journaling and moving my body and going to the gym and serving the purpose as to understand why I wanted to work out each and every day or just move my body. It was because back then my dad wasn't capable, and I saw him that, and he lost his identity in that. I have truly found through implementing those healthy habits in that darkest time of my life that enabled me to find my identity again. My identity is resorted in who I truly want to be and show up as. And I'm able to do that now confidently, and I'm able to do that freely. I don't feel constrained in a mental jacket. I don't feel constrained in a physical jacket anymore. Implementing those small healthy habits and writing down exactly how I feel and looking in the mirror and asking myself, how would my dad want me to show up, has enabled me to be in this position I am today, to pursue my dream and impacting others, to help others move more freely and confidently again, but also find my true identity again, knowing that I'm able to show up as my true capability, knowing that I'm able to perform like I was as an athlete growing up and exceeding that, knowing that I can pour my heart and soul into something that I truly love and desire instead of focusing on not where I want to be, focusing on comparing myself, focusing on feeling sorry for myself, focusing on what other people think of me. I no longer think that way. Because of implementing those small, healthy habits, that compound interest of working on myself has allowed me to be in the position I am today. So all the things that you see, especially on my early Instagram, that wasn't because it just popped out of the blue. That's not because me journaling the night before didn't just happen, right? It has been compounding over years. I lost my identity twice. After losing my dad, after my knee surgery, and I made sure that that is what I wanted to be. I wanted to be an athlete again. I wanted to impact other people again. I wanted to be such a strong and resilient individual that confidence led me to where I am today. So I'm here to tell you that you need to look in the mirror and you need to truly ask yourself the question of, am I willing to make a change to better my situation in the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months to a year? Or if I truly hate making a change, am I willing to remain the same? Because I'm totally fine either way with what you decide, but I know for me, I was so angry and I hated not being able to change my situation because I was so mentally focused on worrying about my situation after losing my dad, that I finally got to the point where I was unwilling to live the situation that I was currently living, and that allowed me to implement healthy habits to have a trajectory and continuing going up the slope. I'm not even near my peak yet, and I keep continuing to add healthy habits month over month, week over week, day over day. I keep stacking those healthy habits, and that what it has enabled me get to be physically and mentally sharp and confident. And that's what has enabled me to show up for the people that I love the most, show up for myself, show up for my dog, show up for my relationship, show up for pursuing my dream. Your pain and your tightness and who you were in the past do not identify who you are today. You need to make a change today. Start taking small action and enable yourself to grow. And I promise you, once you do that and you fix your pain mentally and physically, you're going to find your purpose again.